TikTok kind of went away for a little bit. Dixie worked her butt off and she set up a Discord channel. And for those that don't understand Discord, you're fine. I don't either. But it's kind of like message boards back in the day. If you're old like me, you may have gotten on message boards, um, where you can talk, send messages, and pictures, short videos, and stuff like that. And then you can have different groups. So like we have Invisible as like the group, as the main thing. And beneath that, we could have separate groups. And I've had a couple people ask me if people are interested to join the Discord, even though I feel Invisible works really well because it's all of us with different diagnoses sharing things so we can all be better. They're wanting to know people's thoughts if they would join, like if we had, the Invisible Discord, but then you'd have like POTS, or you'd have chronic pain, or you would have other illnesses listed below. Little groups where people with associated diagnoses could talk in there about those specific diagnoses. They'd be moderated by people who are living with it. It wouldn't be doctor moderated, it wouldn't be nurse not, so there wouldn't be kind of medical advice, but it would be modded by people who actually live the experience, who actually have the same diagnosis. So I want to try to put that out there. I think it's a good idea, because it was brought up to me and it makes a lot of sense. Ooh, sorry about that. I thought was weird on your end. Some people may be shy to share what they're experiencing, but they may feel more comfortable sharing what they're experiencing with a group if it's the same diagnosis. And that's kind of the thought pattern behind it. So I don't know. Amy, do you have any thoughts, feelings, emotions towards it?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful. I mean, I think it would definitely be helpful because especially, if you're, maybe newly diagnosed or you're still trying to figure stuff out, if there was like a group of other people who have my exact same illness, like my exact diagnosis, if I could go to them and say, hey, this is what I'm trying right now and it is not working. What are you guys trying? Or are you guys going through a bad flare up right now? Like, is it just the weather with my arthritis? Or what electrolytes are you trying for my POTS? Like, I tried this electrolyte and I don't like it. What are you guys trying? Because I feel like, you could make videos or we could share within the big thing. But I think if it was like an individualized, that's a hard word, individualized group, it would maybe be a little easier. I don't know. Or just, I think it would be a good idea. I think it would be.
My initial thought was, I'm sure there's 10,000 groups for everything on the planet on Facebook, but there are people out there like me that I don't do Facebook. I just don't do it, and so I wouldn't have access to those kind of groups. And this would be, I think, the community, Invisible community, on this app has a special bond already, and it would be taking that bond, I think, to a little bit different. Knowing you have that bond already. And you either trust this person already, or not to take this person's advice already, right? So I think that might be a good aspect. So I'm all for doing it. And the Discord right now, I believe, is set to private. You have to have an invitation to have to be invited. I'd say message Joe, message Amy, message me, or email me. The email's the best, keithcpp@gmail.com. I have gotten better about my messages. I've cleared, I'm like down to less than 50. So, yeah. So, that's a lot. I'll be glad to send an invite to the Discord. We keep it kind of the Discord private because we want to keep it invisible, and we want to keep it safe, and we want people to know that that it's safe to be expressive in that situation. Another good thing about Discord is, even in those small groups, like for POTS, for example, y'all could do a live together in that group.
Yeah.
And not just have to type and message different techniques and stuff and share advice, but you can do a live. And on Discord, everybody that's part of the live, like we have 40 people here, there'd be like 30 people up on the screen, where they can all talk and share at the same time. Yeah. So that's something else. Other thing I want to kind of get out of the way too is part of that, the takeoff of that is I mentioned last time I had Dr. Mike on about doing like a book club. Kind of mentioned it. I told him I was going to teach a class on his book, right? But believe it or not, a lot of people were interested in doing a book club for a year or more. If y'all are serious, let's set it up. Let's do it. Where it can be, I don't know, here, YouTube, Insta, Discord, wherever you want. I'd love to, because I would love to talk to y'all about how you understand some of the things he's trying to say, and then we could gather questions where we all are like, what the F is he talking about? Because he's committed to come back on like once every 4 or 5 weeks, and then we can have these questions already, so next time he comes on, right? We can address them with him. So if that's something that you would like, message me, email me, keithcpp@gmail.com, message Amy, message Joe, and let's see if we can get enough interest in that. As of now, Amy, I think you had said like once a month, or get to discuss chapters or something. Was that you I was talking about with it about?
Yeah. I was thinking like if we just did like a cluster, maybe like 2 or 3 chapters, just like once a month instead of, our normal Tuesday night, we could do a couple chapters just like the first Tuesday of the month, or, have it like on a regular basis so that we're not adding an additional live. But I think a lot of people are really interested. And then I also saw a couple comments about the Discord. I don't think the link is in Keith's bio. I think you're going to need to message one of us about it. So I know I'm not sure who said it. There was a couple comments about the link to Discord. Message Keith, message myself or Joe, or Dixie. I know she has it too. And we'll send the link to you, because it's not in our bios or anything. But I think the book club would be really fun. And especially if people don't have the book, that's a good way to learn about it as well.
Yeah, and I think that's another side of it. We're always taking donations to try to get people books when they can't afford them, and he just had 50 donated, which was crazy. But if you don't have the book, I think it would still be a good experience, because the chapters are at most like 3 pages long, right? So you're going to get what's in that chapter if people are talking about that chapter. So I think that would be, we can, I could do a study guide, but that's just my opinion on stuff that's in there. Of course, I want to talk to Dr. Mike to get if I did a study guide for sure, to make sure I'm pulling up points that he agrees with. But a general book club, I don't think he would have a problem with, as long as we let him know. So,
that's great.
Before I go, I want to pause real quick. In case y'all didn't see the message in here about Bobby, Bobby's in the hospital with flu and pneumonia. So when we're saying our prayers and sending our juju, the voodoo that we do out tonight, y'all, if we could make sure we send a little bit extra for Bobby, please. I'd appreciate that. Yeah. But I think, I'd say we should do it. So message us to let us know, though, if we think it's 2 people, like me, Amy, Joe, and Dixie. Well, we're going to schedule our stuff, right? But if it's like 6 or 7 of us, to know what to kind of expect, Dixie said, all right, Dixie, can you remind me that? She said Dr. Mike wanted to join Discord. We need to send him an invite. I totally spaced that. So remind me that tonight. Because I think it'd be good. And I know people get tired of me talking about his book, but his book helped me that much. It really did. And nothing I've read, minus the Bible, has helped me with my chronic pain and applying how to do better. In fact, you know how you can order these now for your doctors? I bought one this week and had it sent to my therapist. because she deals with a lot of patients that are dealing with
That's good.
medical PTSD, a lot of medical trauma. And our area has terrible doctors, and like sharing how
Yeah.
we come together like this. And I think I've actually added some followers from my hometown because she's put the word out, so people can find community. Um, but yeah, so she's going to
Yeah.
read it and then get it out to the people that she sees that could help. So, all right. So we did Discord. We did Dr. Mike's book. I guess why we're talking about Dr. Mike is there's a chapter in here, pain blankets do not work. The theory behind the pain blanket, as I can read it, it's funny because it's one of the least it's one of the least highlighted chapters I have in here because I may have skipped over this when I read it first couple of times. The theory is do you take your meds on a specific time during the day, like 8 a.m., noon, 4 p.m., 8 p.m., and stuff like that? Or do you take them in anticipation of when you think you're really going to need them? And I don't have an opinion on this.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, because I know a lot of people have read this, if anybody else has an opinion on it. I think accidentally I fall into the area of not pain blanket because he says the theory of taking your meds on a regular schedule to keep them in your system is wrong. Okay, but that's how my brain works. But
Yeah.
I'm good at taking my first one, and I'm pretty good at following up. I'm not abusing my I'm allowed to take 4 pills a day. That's what my Bible says, right? I'm good at taking my second one, which is probably not maybe the full 4 hours I'm supposed to wait because I'm hurting really bad because I've done something. But then I'm terrible at the third one. Because if I'm not hurting real bad, I'm not going to be driven to go take it. Does that make sense?
Right.
But then I will take that third one, So I was just curious of what y'all's opinion kind of was, because I know a lot of people. I was live and die when I first started taking my meds every 4 hours. Wherever I would take my pills with me and set a timer on my phone, 4 hours I can take. And he brings up this thing in here about how it gets people to watch the clock if we schedule our drugs. And that's one thing freaking idiot Pena would rail on me when I would see him, because I would tell him that the pain meds weren't working. And he's like, you're just too busy focused on the clock and when you can take another med. I'll never forget him telling me that. And it's like, I'm focused on a dipshit because you're not giving me enough pain control. And so I just wanted to get other people's ideas. Are you on a schedule every day, Amy, or what? Just
no. I think I definitely used to be, but I found that didn't work for me. And I think it's very dependent on who you are and like what your pain is, because I feel like, especially for us in the chronic pain community, it varies, day to day. Because, when I feel like a normal person has surgery and they take pain medicine, they should take it on a very consistent basis so that they don't get out of pain. But they're not used to the pain. So it's normal for them to take their pain medication on a schedule. But I think for me personally, I have found that I have not found the most benefit from that. Mine varies very widely. Like you, I have 4 of my main pain medication that I take. And then I have 2 extended release that I take, one in the morning, one in the evening. But the 4, I just take whenever I feel like it. I know I have 4 to use throughout the day. So a lot of the times I'll wake up in the morning and take it. And then, like today, I took one at 7. By 11, I was in really bad pain, so I took another one. Was that the 6-hour mark? No. But I was in pain, so I took it. And then the next one I didn't need for 7 hours because I was just laying on the couch not doing anything. So, by the time the day ends, it adds up to I take 4. But I don't take them at 7, at 1, at 7 and 1, or whatever, So I think you just have to figure out what works for you, because that did not work for me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
I think going through the comments, it's a mix. And
yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's 50
some
50.
people, I think Joe said that he definitely was, you know. Um, Shelly says she used to teach her cancer patients not to let the pain climb over the tipping point. Mine is a 710, and that's another thing, is that's the fear in my head is I don't want to play catch up, because I know
Right.
when I get behind my pain, and this is just from my
Yeah.
pain perspective, right? If I get behind it, it's a bitch to catch back up to, and that's a fear of mine.
Oh, well, yeah.
Um, but I'm thinking the longer I've been um, on the correct meds, I
Yeah.
can actually get away from that fear, because the meds are adequate. I know that if I
Yeah.
get a little behind, there isn't a massive hill I have to go up to catch on. And listen, y'all, I know I am blessed, and I am overly fortunate because I have a decent pain regimen. I understand that,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to brag about that. I'm not trying to rub it in anybody's face. I promise you, I'm not. Um, because I've been
Yeah. So you're
not
properly managed.
right. And so I think now I have a little less fear of that catching, of playing catch up, because playing catch up sucks.
Yeah. Playing catch
You know,
up, you can't. I mean, once you get out of control pain, there is no catching up. I mean, you just have to wait that sucker out. And like that's how I was today, is that, you know, 3 hour or 4 hours went by, and I could feel myself getting to that. I'm getting past a 9. If I wait any longer, I am going to be in uncontrollable pain. So I took it before so that I didn't get in uncontrollable pain. And I'm lucky that I have 4 to play around with in a day, but I wouldn't say that I am well managed, but I'm very thankful for the ones that I have, because I know so many people do not have that luxury. But I think you have to find the right mix of where you're taking it on a consistent basis, but you're not letting your pain get out of control.
and I'm not.
Because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but once mine gets out of control, I am screwed.
Yeah, and Shelley just said that it takes so much more med to get you out of uncontrollable pain. Sends a lot of people to the ER, and it does. And very few of
Right.
us, if you're a pain patient, want to go to the ER. Very few of us, if you have a chronic illness, do you want to go to the ER? Which is,
No.
it's like this circle, right? Even my pain doctor now tells me if something happens and goes wrong, go to the ER. Give them my business card. They can give you meds. But I go to the ER. Oh, you're a chronic pain patient. We don't treat chronic pain here, and then they send you out, and it's
Right.
like, nobody wants the responsibility. Nobody wants the
Yeah. I
responsibility.
know. Like my new biggest fear is that I something will actually be wrong with me and I will refuse to go to the emergency room, because I'm at the point now that I will not go, because I have
Yeah.
been treated so terribly in the past. The last time I went, it was before I was diagnosed with POTS, and I was having a severe flare up and I had no idea what it was. And they just told me that I was anxious, and they gave me Ativan. And they were like, just calm down, you'll be fine, and sent me home. Come to find out, I was in a severe POTS flare up. They didn't give me
Mm.
IV, like, they didn't give me any saline or, like, IV fluids, nothing that would have helped. But so now I'm like, now my biggest fear is that something will actually be wrong, and I will refuse to go, because I'm like, I'm not going. I will croak here at home in the in the comfort of my own bed, because I'm not going.
And that goes back to the
But
conversation
that's
we had a few weeks ago about when we develop something new, how long do we put it off before we talk to a
right.
doctor about it, right? Which we all are. I
Yeah.
don't want to say guilty of not wanting to talk to a doctor to bring it up, because we're not guilty of anything. I feel we're pragmatic.
Right.
We're like, how am I going to address this? And if it's not life or death, what's one do I really want one more diagnosis in my jacket? You know. So, and again, y'all, I'm not recommending pain blanket versus scheduled drugs. I'm just curious to see where everybody stood. I'm not telling. I am definitely not in any way. Don't take it. Yeah, please don't take this in any way that I'm encouraging you to do either one. I want you to do what works for you. That's what I want. And we're all individuals and we're all different. And I can understand maybe for some chronic illnesses, you need to be on every 6 hours. You need to be on that med every 6 hours to keep a specific illness under control. That's not really what I was trying to get at. That was mainly, and I should have prefaced it better by saying that's mainly for the pain, the pain folks, you know. So because kind of rolls me
a
in.
Nurse in the comments.
I love Shelly.
ABC, your airway, breathing, or circulation. Go to the ER. That's good advice, Shelly. That's good advice.
And I don't know if it'll show it, but Shelly's right here in my notes. She is. I wanted to talk about Shelly tonight. Y'all, if you're not following Shelly, please do. She stitched a video today that Dr. France, I think it was, had done. Nance, thank you. Regarding the cavalry's not coming to save us. And Shelly finds these great videos, and she's not giving medical advice, right? But as a former nurse, I love her perspective on things, because Shelly, you have a great, after working with doctors and in the medical fields for so long, you have a great way. I love talking with you and seeing your videos, just like Dr. Mike, because I feel like you give inside information and that I would never be able to figure out. And you shared this, and you talked about how doctors today aren't, for the most part, really going to come to save us. And it's going to be up to us, and not necessarily Dr. Google, to try to figure out treatments or what can even be a diagnosis, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't think we can stress that enough. And I think that's what this community also provides. You hang out on a live, or you watch people's videos, and you can pick up on different treatments. You can pick up on different diagnoses, and because we need to be able to do our best to figure out what the hell's going on for us. Because
I mean, I think, it's funny because I think healthy people have this perception that if you have something wrong with you, going to the doctor and getting a diagnosis and getting a treatment is just an easy, quick thing. I remember a couple weeks ago, I shared the exchange I had with family members in Alabama that they were all talking about the healthcare system. And part of the conversation was my sister-in-law was talking about something, and she goes, yeah, there's this new show on TV. I can't remember what she called it, but she goes, they have a diagnostician, and you just go in and you tell this guy all your problems, and he diagnoses you, and then you're on to the next thing. Like, they have those in real life. I just don't know why people don't utilize that. And I literally, it took everything in me not to laugh out loud when she said that, because I'm like, sure, there are doctors who are diagnosticians who diagnose things, but they are few and far between, honey, and that is not the reality of life. Like, you can go to the doctor, and I mean, I recently read a study that said it on average takes 5 to 7 years to get a diagnosis. Mm-hmm. So that's 5 to 7 years of us going to the doctor and yes, that's what it was. And going to the doctor and trying to figure it out, but they're not going to help you because they, like Shelly said in her video, it's a money machine. Like, the more patients they see a day, the more money they're going to make. So would they rather sit with you for an hour and really dig deep and figure it out? Or would they rather spend 10 minutes with you and see 5 more patients and get paid 5 more times? Unfortunately, maybe back in the day, they were more likely to sit with you and do things. But nowadays, it's just not the reality.
No.
And it sucks.
No, and it's you add in the fact that you're possibly a complicated patient. Where like for me,
Yes.
it's back pain,
Complicated patient.
it's
Oh, yeah.
migraines, it's mental health, it's all of the stuff that gets stacked, right? Plus the high blood pressure and and all the other normal stuff. Um, I was
Yes.
I was encouraged. There was a lady a few weeks ago that asked that was going to go see a pain doctor for the first time and had asked us, and we had talked during a live about different questions she had asked. She should ask, or philosophies and approaches. And I remember her saying when she met with that pain doc, they actually took like 30 minutes with her. I was blown away. I really, really was, because that's rare. Because when I was interviewing docs, if it was, they're looking at my chart. Well, he's right. You need a nerve stimulator. I'd be recommending the same thing. And that's it. I'll continue to look at your chart, Mr. Johnson, and contact you if there's something else. Get the fuck out of here, Because I've met with so many, I wanted to call my insurance company and say, don't pay the guy. Don't pay him a penny.
Yeah,
No. But I would caution Google, Dr. Google. I would recommend like NIH, National Institutes of Health, or whatever that stands for. Google for me at least is really good at pulling up NIH studies. And like Shelley said in her video, if one person has had something, there's probably going to be a study on it, because somebody got paid to do a study.
Yes.
And so,
and every diagnosis has their own foundation too. Like she said, every diagnosis has their own website, official .org, .gov, whatever, their website. And that's what I go to anytime I have questions. Mayo Clinic is also good. Anytime I have, like, I'm right now trying to really research my POTS. And so I go to the POTS website and pull up their studies and go from there, go find links in their website and go out to other stuff. And so I think if you kind of know what you're dealing with, go to their website and like research through their papers and their research and stuff like that. Okay. Because Dr. Google will usually steer you wrong or tell you you're going to be 6 feet under in 2 days.
Yeah. I'll come out with this, and I'll be like, well, I'll look at Valor. Dr. Google says I have this, and she'll just shake her head. She's like, no, you don't. Shut up. And somebody else had mentioned ChatGPT, or whatever it is. I was turned on to not just having conversations with that stuff with the AI. I have a follower when we were doing the Bias Project and that study for the girl who cried pain, which if you haven't read it, I recommend it. That is on my link tree. And the study was like 7 pages long, and my brain was having problems with it. And this person put it in chat, put it in AI, and said summarize. And it took that 7-page NIH study, with words that are like this long, and it spit it out in English.
Yeah.
And I would recommend doing that, because some of those NIH studies can get really, really, they talk in circles a lot. And, so it's that would be another thing that I would suggest as well. Trying to see what else we got on here.
Well, I was going to say, the other thing about the medical system is you just have to remember that we are hiring them. Like, that is something that we all really need to remember, is that they are not working they're working for us. We don't have to go to them. And I understand, like, if you're stuck in a particular health system, I understand that your hands can be kind of tied and it's not easy to find a new doctor all the time. listen, I have jumped through all the hoops before. I understand it is not always easy, but you just have to remember that they are working for you. They only make money if you go and see them. And the medical system, listen, I've worked in the medical system, I've worked in hospitals, outpatient care, offices, all the things. And it all comes down to money at the end of the day, unfortunately. But you're the one hiring them. So if they're not doing it for you, they're not helping you, they're giving you attitude, do everything you can to find a new person. And I'm going to say it's not easy. I know that. Listen, I have been stuck where I had to stay in a particular healthcare system, and that was the only thing that was in network. And we had to rearrange our entire budget for me to pay cash to go to a different guy because I was that desperate. It's not easy. I understand that. But you just have to remember that they are working for you. And you deserve good health care. You deserve to be treated well and kindly. And that's my soapbox for the day. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming to your TED Talk. They do. And when there's a whole book, and well, Dr. Mike's book talks about so many red flags. But when everybody's different though. My red flag from my previous PCP is when I told them I wanted to go see a shrink or a therapist to talk about how my pain was impacting me. And they said, well, go talk to your pain doctor, because if it has anything to do with pain, we can't refer you. And I looked at her and I said, I'm asking to see a mental health professional. And she said, yes, but it's due to pain, so we can't refer you. And I was like, that's it. I'm done with you.
Yeah.
You know, I get the whole idea of of wanting people to see specialists, but anyway, that's off in the woods. Tracy said, I have a medical binder I'm working on. I take to my doctor's appointments. They need info I have to show. Tracy, Amy's done stuff on binders and stuff. There's another creator on here, Ricky, like, what is her spine? Something spine, like the falling apart spine or something. Yeah, Ricky, the declining spine. God, that's the best name. She's done several videos, if you want to kind of search for her, about how she does her binder system and her medical stuff, and it's really, really good stuff. So if you can find her, if you can't find her, talk to Amy or let me know, and I will track down Ricky's and I'll send you our link and stuff like that. So Leslie says she's saying, yeah. I don't do binders. I do these little bitty notebooks, which this is all invisible. My whole book is done. I have to go back because it's all invisible stuff inside of this. Anyway. Yeah, I know. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, we're working on it. There's somebody else said something here that I missed and I can't remember what it was. Give me just a second, y'all. Where was it? Somebody said something about seeing a pain therapist. Yeah, Leslie says, I'm seeing a pain therapist for medical PTSD. That caught a flag in me because I mentioned the other day I was going to see my therapist, and I had somebody ask what I recommended. And in this situation, the person has a pretty high level of medical degrees, like knowledge.
Yeah.
And in the past, therapy hadn't worked really well because they know what they're going to be told. Does that make sense? Right. I would still recommend, if anybody has the opportunity to go to therapy, to do it. If your insurance will cover it, do it. Because 100%. The very least, it gives you a chance to bitch and moan and vomit everything that's going on between you and your doctor, you and your health, and it saves you from unleashing all of that on the support system you have at the house. And I look at it as an opportunity to give Valerie a break, right? Or so she doesn't have to catch everything. And I feel the
Yeah.
more we talk about what's going through that, just to get it out, I think, um, well, I think that's the best. That's just my personal opinion. Again, it's not medical advice, right? Um, but I would highly recommend at least trying it. But then again, you're going to find bad therapists, like you're going to find bad doctors, bad healthcare. You know,
Oh
they're out there
yes,
just
yes.
like they're
I
bad
went through
doctors.
many a
You know,
therapy. Yeah.
so
Bo said he spent 20,000 on therapy to find out that AA was free. Bless your heart, Bo. Bless your heart. You should get that 20,000 back. You should.
yeah, I wish you could. You know,
That is, I hate that for you.
you know,
Therapy can be expensive. You always need to check to see if your insurance will cover it, because a lot of times, especially within the past several years, insurance has been covering it.
yeah.
But yeah, if you have the chance to do it, it has helped me so much. I, yeah, I absolutely love it. And it, like you said, there are bad therapists. I have been through my share of them, but once you find a good one, it is like it all clicks and you're able to let it all out, and they're not there to judge you, and it's very helpful.
I got lucky. When mine was the first one, I waited like 4 months before I could get an appointment. But I didn't even know it. But she deals with a lot of her clients are people who have medical PTSD. So I just kind of walked right into it. Moonchild said, I sadly cannot find EMDR near me that takes my insurance. That's $200 more an hour. Man, I haven't gone through EMDR yet. But
I've heard that's really intense.
it is. Well, yeah, I don't want to scare anybody though.
I haven't done it.
My therapist wants to do that with me, and I've agreed to it. It's just as my brain fog has been so bad, she's like, I don't want to climb in your brain when your brain's all messed up like it is. So Moonshot, I hope that you can find somebody that'll do something for you with that, because I probably have talked to 40 different people about this before I agreed to let them climb in my brain like that. And they're like,
yeah.
They're like, do it.
Well, it looks like a lot of people have done it in this chat. Like Joe and I don't want to call you guys out, but it looks like a lot of people have done it or tried it. Yeah. I have only heard good stuff about it, to be honest with you. I've just heard it's very intense and very intense. I don't really know another word. I was going to say something else, but
that's what everybody tells me too. Intense.
Chronically developed.
But
yeah, I've heard it.
And I guess
it's amazing.
I know people that have done it because they're blessed. Their biggest trauma is medical trauma, right? Which is a terrible thing. But I'm gonna be bringing the semi, backing the trailer up, and bringing all the garbage that I've had. So this won't be like a month, 1 month and done. This is gonna be like my therapist is buying a new boat, because of me.
Now, okay, so maybe somebody else in the chat can answer this, but like, is EDMR, is it like an ongoing thing? Like you do it for the rest of therapy, or it's like 10 sessions and you're done? Or is it like you do it until you're good? Or I don't know. Like, I don't therapy, you just do it forever, I feel like. From what I didn't know if EDMR was something that you only do.
That's a good question. It's been sold to me as it's a process and you get through the process, right? But it helps with like retraining brain waves and stuff for your brain and dealing with this trauma. But it may be a lifetime commitment. Who knows? We'll see.
Do it as long
as you need. Okay. So, yeah. If anything, that
every 2 weeks. Okay. You do it as long. Okay.
I'll do it.
I didn't know if it was a program.
It would be.
Yeah, you'll have to give us play-by-play.
Yeah, I will. I got no qualms about sharing just about anything. If it gets me, I look at it this way. If I go through this process, even if it takes a really long time, years, the food is better at home than if I go and I physically take it out on Dr. Penny himself. because that'll get me in a lot of trouble. And I
Yeah.
like food at home versus the other type of food, you know.
You
But
know,
obviously,
I don't want to visit you behind glass.
I think we can do invisible through the jail phones. I don't know. So we'll find
That
out.
would probably get a lot of views. That would probably skyrocket our views for sure.
Um, let me
Oh
send this
man.
message real quick. Um, it's Ricky the declining spine, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I can't remember how she has it spelled, so you're just gonna have to play with that. Ricky the declining spine. So,
I think it's like,
for
yeah, really at the declining spine, I think is what, if I remember correctly.
you know, well,
But you'll find her.
you'll find her. Yeah. So, trying to think what is anybody else. I can pass that. I love how Sarah said that
That is
EDMR.
so cute. Keith does need one of those. Keith, have you ever heard of
What?
the Damn It dolls? It's like this
Mm,
little doll that's like a rag doll, but basically they'd say that you can smack it and hit it against anything and it will never like get destroyed. So it's called a Damn It doll. And I have one. I don't know where it's at. But you can like it's indestructible. You can smack it against anything and hit it against anything and it will never it's indestructible. We need to get Keith one of those. I was gifted one of those years ago. I don't remember by who, but they were like, "Here, take your frustration out on this doll," and it works. You feel good.
I I would
So he
say
does need one of those. Yeah.
I would say you may want to save your receipt so you can get your money back when I send it back to you in pieces. You know, you know.
They say
Um,
it's indestructible. I don't know. It's pretty
yeah,
good.
well,
They
I
should send those out of doctor's office. It should be like a gift with purchase. You pay your copay, you get a Damn It doll. I would go there. Sign me up. I
it'd
don't
be
care what kind of
cheaper
doctor you are. I'll go. If you're handing out dolls, I'll go.
cheaper to just show me some respect at the doctor's office. So I wouldn't need a damn it all. Oh, I said that out loud. I like my doctor,
But they won't do
Doctor Leak. Doctor Leak, if you're
that.
in here on a burner account and you're hearing me talk, don't take that as serious. I like you. I've recommended you to other patients because that's how much I like you. Um, so trying to think, is there anything else before we get into victories? We'll do a little bit of victories before we get out of here tonight that you have. Let's talk about the YouTube
I would
page real
love to
quick.
hear some.
Y'all have seen Joe
Okay.
in here. Joe's been here tonight. Hallelujah. Joe has been under the weather. Can I say that, Joe, that you've been under the weather? I hope, because I just did. Um, and the YouTube page is up and it's good. Dr. Mike, the live we did with Dr. Mike is up there. And the live that you and I did on gaslighting should be up, I think, tonight. If not tonight, tomorrow morning. So if you go to the YouTube page, I would beg you to, whether you ever want to watch anything, hit the subscribe little bell. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, I promise. But that really helps with YouTube. YouTube wants everybody to hit that bell. And so, dang, Amy, you're scoring big. Look at you. Thank you, Danielle. So, I guess what you get for putting up with me. So, but yeah, all the stuff's up on YouTube. Campbell Kids, is anybody out there with rheumatoid arthritis? Thank you for that. Oh, look at that, Amy. Thank you for the hearts. Anyone
I'll
have
message you. I am fortunate.
Campbell? Look for Advocate if she's still here. Advo has RA. So, and that could be a channel that we do on the Discord if more people are interested. So don't forget to send me if you want the stuff like that. Let me know. So
We all got RA in place.
yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
We do need to make Discords because we all have so much. I feel like we really do need to make separate channels on the Discord because I feel like that would be really, really helpful.
I think so.
hearing just like so many people.
And I think it's
Yeah.
different than doing going to Facebook and getting into a group with 10,000 people. This would be a small group, maybe 5, maybe 10, right? And then we can start with that. And then again, it's led by somebody who's lived it, and I think that would be really something pretty good. So if you want the Discord invite, me, Amy, Joe, I think you have it, and Dixie can do it too. Actually, anybody who's in Discord can send an invite, if I remember correctly. So, but let's build it, and Dixie and I will talk tonight about getting the other channels set up, and we can go from there. So, Shelly said Facebook groups can be very pessimistic. Just my experience, Shelly. That's what I feel. Facebook itself can be very pessimistic. That's why I try not to.
I've never had a good experience on a Facebook group for chronic illness. So I stay away from them.
It did a lot of good for us with the homeless outreach in Vegas. But I was spending 6 hours, 7 hours a day on that page, posting pictures, videos, answering questions, answering private messages. Because it also worked for us, for people who needed help, they could find us that way as well. So that took a lot of time. So, thank you, Ange. Thank you this is awesome. So let's do victories, because we need to do victories. I know we need to do victories. So if you have a victory from the last week, I don't care when from November, and you want to share your victory right now, share your victory. It could be big. It could be you found your unicorn. It could be something like we got a shower this week, or you got a shower on Friday. Share your victory, because we all need these victories to live. We all thank you. That was pretty awesome. We all need something to because a lot of us haven't had victories. Joe, you ate solid food for the first time in 2 weeks. Hallelujah, brother. That's huge.
Advo makes pancakes.
Hey,
send us stuff.
And you don't deliver? Come on, you got to start sharing that stuff. A friend of ours who's not here tonight, unfortunately, she got some really good cancer news this week, and I asked her how she felt about it on a text message, and she said, I would be doing cartwheels if I could be doing cartwheels. So that's a huge one. Susan says, getting Botox for migraines. Woohoo, I hope it works for you. It did work for me in the past. Butterfly, my victory is keeping my doctor appointment for tomorrow. Butterfly, that is a huge victory. And if you have questions or something, if you think we can help in any way, let us know.
Charity Rose showered and cooked dinner a few times.
That's it.
How awesome is that? One time is a victory for me, but a few times is awesome. God, good for you.
Divine got out of the hospital. That's like a mega victory. Hallelujah. Boss told me he's looking for my replacement so he can promote me to a new position. That is awesome. And I'm counting that you finally were able to get at least part of your script filled. That's a huge victory. Angie, family and I started back at church. It was such a wonderful feeling. Hallelujah. That is so awesome.
That's a blessing.
Valerie went out today with a friend hadn't seen in a couple months. That was good. Finally, Daniel, I was able to finally get my complete panectomy and hallelujah for that. Daniel, that is awesome. Wow. See, this is the kind of stuff that we get. Awesome. Charity Rose, shower and cook dinner a few times. This is all the beautiful stuff.
Finally got a diagnosis.
That is
surgery next Friday. Well, we'll be praying for you always. I hope it goes well.
Danielle, I love this one for you. My primary care took over my pain management. That's a huge victory. Oh my God, that is like so much more than a unicorn doctor. That is beautiful. That is awesome. Hallelujah for that. So look at all this stuff. This is so awesome. This is so awesome.
This is amazing.
Campbell turned 50.
An RA infusion on Tuesday.
See, This is all stuff
Yes.
that
Oh, happy birthday.
that invisibles get. We don't
Slow down,
understand
please.
this. If normal people don't understand how finally getting
Hmm.
a diagnosis is huge, or that your primary care is going to take care of you with your pain management and things like that, or that you finally were able to get a surgery you needed, or you're able to get your injections. They don't get it because they don't see the insurance companies we have to fight to get approval. They don't see the doctors we have to blow through till we get one that wants to show compassion
Amazing.
and care and empathy. You know, Moonchild said, "I'm still choked up over the book donations last week. 50 books. Can you all believe it? Has nothing
Who
to
else
do
is
with me."
crying?
I was in tears. For once
Who's
in your life,
crying?
people's lives, they got to see both me and Dr. Mike at the same time speechless. And to shut Dr. Mike and me up, that takes a lot. That takes a
Telling
lot.
you, folks. Doesn't happen.
Actually, it's 51 because I got my book donated today finally. So
That is
that's
so
this is good
good.
stuff, and this is why I needed these victories tonight, because with this now coming down with the flu or the cold or whatever I have right now, I needed all
Oh,
of this type of stuff.
get that devil away.
I don't want this stuff. I hate being sick. So all right, Sarah, you have a great night tonight. Yeah, it was Shelly. He was wiping away tears when that came across, right?
That was so cool.
It was. I tell people, out of every life, something happens. Either you find something to laugh at when life is terrible, or you get some good information on how to be more successful. Or I honestly say, somebody felt called to donate 40 books, and somebody felt called to donate 10.
Yeah.
That's not just an everyday occurrence, and I had nothing. None of it. We got to take part in it and see it happen.
Yeah.
And that was so good. The fact that he was able to ship out that many books, so that was incredible. Plus, he's going to come back in a few weeks, right? So that'll be a good live as well. I love having Dr. Mike on. And if you're going to want to do this Dr. Mike book club, message me or Amy or Joe or Dixie, and so we can get this set up. We can figure out where we can get it done, where we're going to host it at, and stuff like that. So, yeah, because I think we should do that too.
Yeah, I agree, Charity. It was a beautiful thing to witness.
It really was. It really was. So, any other parting words of advice for my Amy?
Well, I mean, I just love you guys so much. Thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you for all the wonderful gifts. It will all be going to Keith for the animals, so thank you so much.
Your gifts go to you.
I never expect anything, so you guys are so sweet. That's never happened. So thank you so much. But again, I just thank you guys for being here tonight and just sharing with the discussion and the conversation and sharing you guys' experience and being there for Keith, myself, and Joe. Listen, I love your love language. So
do I, Danielle.
Thank you.
I love it too.
You're so sweet. The animals are going to love you.
Animal shelter pups will love you a lot for that.
But this just shows what the community is. Like Keith knows, and you guys know, I've been having a really rough weekend, and you guys just lifted my spirits tonight. You guys have been amazing. I love coming on and chit-chatting with this community and just doing everything with you guys. So thank you selfishly, thank you for lifting my spirits. Thank you for making me feel better. I will go back and rot in my bed for the rest of the evening, but this hour has been awesome. You guys always make me feel better. So that's just the power of this community. And I just love you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here.
I don't think I could say anything better or add more words or less words than what Amy just said. These lives mean the world to me. This community means the world to me. If I can do anything to help or promote for you or questions or something, just reach out. And I'm doing what I can to keep the Instagram page going. I'm doing what we can to keep the YouTube page going. And I'm committed to this Discord. If you guys want it, we'll do it. And I look forward to doing that too. So if you guys need me for anything, message me. I'll probably get it. Email me, keithcpp@gmail.com. I'll definitely get it. Or message Amy. message Joe. Amy and Joe are the two responsible ones of the group. And we can go from there. You guys have a great night tonight. And please be safe. And I hope tomorrow's a little bit better day for everybody. Love you guys. See ya. Peace. Bye.